know what this means? It's time to make some salsa, baby. Now we've got the makings of fire roasted salsa. We're going to roast peppers, tomatoes, and jalapenos over a fire. We're going to add it to some diced tomatoes, and we're going to make some really good salsa like you haven't had before. Well, maybe you have, but it's going to be good. All right, the first thing we're going to do is fire roast our two tomatoes. We're going to fire roast a bell pepper and 3 jalapenos. Now, we've actually cored out 2 of the jalapenos. We left one of them intact so we could have a little bit of warmth in the salsa, but not too much. If you like a lot of heat in your salsa, just leave the seeds in. So now we're going to get to it here. And it is plenty warm, let me tell you. Ain't them pretty. Do be careful when working with open flame, because it is mighty, mighty hot. And these things will stick to the grates, and those will be like molten little fireballs if you happen to squeeze it. Squeeze the juices out, they'll be nice and hot. It's important to keep them moving also. What we're looking for is a crisping up, a little bit of blackening, because when we process that into the salsa, it's going to really give it some good flavor. Kind of inverting the bell pepper here so we can get some of that smoky flavor into it. It's going to have it either way. And we're getting some good blackening blisters. That's kind of what we're looking for too. Like I said, be careful with these tomatoes because they are getting good and hot. You got to really stay on these things. As you can see, this skin is starting to peel up here on this jalapeno, so we're going to go ahead and take it off now. Put it on the plate. Fire. Alright, as you can see, the skin is starting to peel off of this. Now, you don't want to leave the tomato on without the skin, because then you could lose your entire tomato. I'm going to go ahead and pop that off, put it on the plate, and then keep watch on these others. When it gets really delicate like this, you just want to leave it in place at that point, because if you start trying to move that tomato around, it's just going to become a big blob and go right through your grate. We're going to have some great blackening flavor though, all through that salsa. And that is extremely hot. Don't get it on yourself. Use some tongs and a mitt. Alright, so we just pulled this right off of the grill, as you can see. It doesn't look like much, but it sure is going to be good when we get it added to everything else. Okay, so we're going to need 3 cups of fresh tomatoes, diced. So we're going to core these tops out here. A lot of people will leave this part. I like to take it off because it just makes it more appealing in the end. Okay, we'll do the rest of them here. Now we're dicing our tomatoes up. Be very careful with sharp knives. Then we're going to turn it, and we're going to go the opposite way. Now you might notice that we got our hot stuff over here on the plate. That is going to be the very last thing we cut up and add to the processor. We're going to let that have all the time it wants to cool down. And if you want to leave the tomato seeds, you can. It's pretty easy to take them out. These are pretty full fruited tomatoes here, so there's not a whole lot of seeds. I'm going to leave them in just for that good flavor. I'm going to go ahead and dice this up like so. And if you want to take the skins off of the tomatoes, you could certainly do that. Some people, it hurts their gut, as Mrs. Reaganite would say. Alright, so we've got 2 cups here. We're going to add this into the food processor. And then we'll add our final cup. One of the nice things about using a flexible cutting board is you can do all of your cutting. If you want to leave the tomato seeds out, you can. But you can scoop this thing up, fold it any way you like, and you can get all of those juices. You want that good juice in there for the salsa. And now we've got our other cup here. So we'll add that in. We'll clean up the food processor here in a minute. And we'll keep on trucking. Now we'll core and dice up our bell pepper. We'll just clean this bad boy out. Hopefully without cutting myself here.
You're rolling.
Okay, so we've got it chopped up. Toss it in the food processor. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take garlic, 3 cloves of garlic. We're going to mash it up and we're going to throw it in there. What I like to do is just take the bottom of a big spoon like so. Mash it up. And once again, the food processor will take care of the rest. Yes, sir. Okay, now next the recipe calls for 1/4 of a red onion if it's a big one. Now this is not so big, so we're just going to actually use half of this one. Half of this one. We'll dice this bad boy up here, get it started for the food processor to make it easier. Again. Okay, we've got a red onion in, now we're going to do a green onion. And it's going to process up real nicely, so don't worry about getting it itty bitty there. Okay. Next is 2 tablespoons of cilantro. Now I'm going to let Mrs. Reaganite chop this up because it would be like a white boy working at Benihana if I tried to do it. As is evidenced by the green onion cutting. Very nice. And again, like I've said several times, the food processor is going to get it pulverized really good. And you're going to work that processor or your mixer, until it's the consistency that you like it. And if you don't have a food processor, this will make great salsa anyway. You could just dice it up real fine and use a blender or figure something out. Next comes the juice of under half of a lime, about 1/3 of a lime. Now before you actually cut it and juice it, it's a good idea to take it and roll it like so. What does it do, Mrs. Reaganite?
It helps you when you're about to juice it.
Kind of gets it rocking and rolling and ready to go, huh? Okay. Instead of juicing it straight into the blender, we're going to use a bowl here. That way if any lime seeds fall out, we can pick those out. This lime is going to give it really good flavor. Alright. Get that poured in there. Okay, our plate's cooled down over here, so we're going to go ahead and get this out of the way and taken care of. Don't have to get carried away about cutting these. Chunks are just fine. Oh, that blackening is going to be so good in the salsa. That smoky flavor, most excellent. Yes, indeed. That's good right there. This is the jalapeno with seeds in it. If you're using a hot pepper, handle it as least as possible if it's the one with seeds in it, because it will burn your hands, especially when you go to scratch your nose later. There we go. And our other hollow hallow. Our hollow hallow Pinot. Feel the burn. And then our blackened bell. We want that blackening in there because, oh, it is so good. When we stew this together, it's going to be awesome.
Alright, for this next part, I've had to send Reaganite to watch the game. First of all, he scares me when he's messing with a knife. And secondly, this part's going to make one unholy mess.
Go Hawks!
And I really don't want to clean up after him. So, what I'm going to do is remove some of this skin because it's going to not chop up well under the food processor. I'm going to remove the stem. And then we're going to chop it up as best we can since it is a big mess. But that smoky flavor that's gotten in this tomato is going to be really good. And you'll probably just want to take this straight over to the processor since it is so juicy and messy.
Well, okay. Hey, the Razorbacks are 2-0 at the College World Series, though. All right.
Go Hogs!
All right, next we're going to add 2 teaspoons of salt, a pinch of black pepper, all through there, 2 dashes of garlic salt, 2 teaspoons of chili powder. I just like the flavor that it adds to the salsa. Next is a tablespoon of white vinegar. Yeah, that's vinegar. Oh yeah. Okay, the next step, we're going to process this on low for 5 to 10 seconds, and then we'll pulse it until we get the desired consistency. Got it pulsed. This is our consistency right now, and it looks pretty good. Kind of like a restaurant style salsa. One very important thing that you've got to do though is you've got to know if you're there by taste testing. Very important. So we'll get some of this up here and give it a taste. If I can get some on there. That's good. That's real good. I think we might. You're getting the camera awfully close. That is very good. We might add a little bit more garlic, maybe a little bit more chili powder, and we're still going to stew it. That way all of the flavors meld together, but this is really good stuff. This is like a really good high quality restaurant salsa here. But we'll stew it, and then from that point we can do a water bath canning and can it up. This should make about 35 ounces, I would say, of salsa. So you could get like 5 of the little 7 or 8 ounce jars and can those, or you could do pints, get a couple of pints out of it and have a little bit left over to eat immediately. But this is really good stuff here. Okay. So now we're going to take this and pour it into a pot. If I don't splatter the camera there. And now we're going to stew it. Now a lot of people, it tastes good to go right now, to be quite honest with you. But when we stew this for a little bit, put on some medium heat here. When we stew this, what's going to happen is all of these flavors are going to meld together. It's going to release some more of the juices, and oh, it's going to be so good. Do you want some salsa? Do you want some salsa? Yeah? You want some salsa? Yeah? Oh, the salsa is going to be so good. I mean, you can put it on tacos, you can put it in burritos, put it on top of enchiladas. Oh, so good. Eat it with taquitos.
You got your salsa tacos, got your salsa chips, you got your salsa and enchiladas, salsa and shrimp.
Tomatoes are the fruit of the land. What? Oh, that is something to eat right there. It's all stewed together now. That is going to be really, really good. And now it's just a matter of storing it. And for that, we'll simply can it and do a water bath on it. Tomatoes are high in acidity, and acidity is the key to killing that bacteria. If you don't, your items that are lower in acidity, like beans, corn, things like that, you need to pressure can those. But for tomatoes and most of your fruit type plants, or Pepper, we're trying to do a video here. But anyway,
you know we're not going to do that because we're going to eat it all.
Yeah, I believe she's correct on that. We can go through salsa really fast. 4 people in this house, I mean, we just munch on it like crazy. And we do a lot of Mexican food, so. This is going to be outstanding, I think. We're going to let it cool down. We'll plate it, take a final look at it, and say our goodbyes. Well, we got it stewed, and we're going to see how it really tastes now. The flavors have really melded together. There's the tomato, and also the garlic, and the blackening from the smoky blackening from the grill. Oh, it's like an explosion, a garden explosion in your mouth. It's really, really good. A little, just that touch of lime really helped it too. That's good. Oh yeah. By stewing it, it also unlocks the heat in the jalapeno seeds, the few that we had in there. And oh, I just got a hold of one. My nose is running a little bit. Very good though. It's not fire hot, but it's a nice mild garden salsa. Very comparable to what you find in a restaurant, only this is extremely fresh. and very, very good. Guys, thanks for watching. See y'all later. I got some work to do here. We appreciate it when you subscribe. And thank you for clicking on our ads too. Y'all have a great day. Happy gardening and happy harvest and happy salsa. Tomatoes are the fruit of the land.